Yo, welcome into the BeBall Jones podcast. The goal of this podcast in my business is to bridge the gap, to fuel hoop dreams into impactful realities on the court and beyond. So thank you for tuning in. Hope you enjoy it. March Madness is upon us. You excited?
I'm very excited. It's my favorite time of year.
I saw a post not too long ago that said that March Madness is probably the best sporting event, like period, in all the sports.
I agree because most sports, you get a day, maybe 2 days. NBA season or like series, 2 weeks. This is going for a while. Like
Mhm.
you have what 60? I guess right now 66 teams. There's a
Yeah.
lot of games ahead of us.
I think the only thing that would compare is like the World Cup. That's the only thing that has like more level of excitement than March
That's fair.
Madness.
That's because the whole world's involved.
But the thing about that is, a reason I say that is because even us Americans who are like, we even named it the wrong sport, but we're still attached to it some kind of way. And so the fact that we like renamed this whole thing and we're still attached to it and we'll like stop what we're doing to watch it, that's next level stuff.
I am never more patriotic than I am during the Olympics or the World Cup. I'm running around like red, white, and blue. Like let's go. So yes.
Point proven. It's like no other sport do you see that level of like, I don't care anything about this sport until this event happens. Maybe the Super Bowl is close, but like the World Cup is like top tier number one. Super Bowl is probably number two, and March Madness might be number three. And that's
That's
tough.
fair.
I think that's the top three.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I'll give you that one.
Yeah, so but I think this year's gonna be very, very special because we've never seen, well, at least in my lifetime, in my knowledge, we've never seen this much attention on the women's half of things. Like we have so many names that are recognizable and people know. Even if you dislike women's sports, you're aware of the names and the teams and stuff. Like that's the point we're at right now with the women's side of things.
I was shocked. So we have a bracket going at work. And I'm so used to people just being like, oh, I don't care about the women's. I don't care about the women's. So we just set up the men's. And they came to me like, where's the women's bracket? We're actually more, we care way more about that than what these men are doing. And so that was kind of exciting. I was like, I'm already on it. I already made my bracket. I'll add you to the group.
Mhm.
So we will see. I know they were saying at the end of the season that the women did have more views this season than the men's college men. So it'll be good to
Yeah.
watch.
I think it's a lot of things culminating for that instance though, because the men's game has slowly been going down. And I
Mm-hmm.
think part of that is because of the one and done stuff. Like you have a guy he's great, but he's here for half the year and like he's gone. And it's not as entertaining to be pulled into it because you have so many things you have to keep up with every single year. Versus the women's half, it's like South Carolina has these girls 3-4 years. Like you're gonna know about these same people 3 or 4 years, like at least two, because you have like somebody like a Caitlin Clark who just been there for a year or two, but then she jumps up, becomes nationally known, and she's
Right.
still there the next year. But in the men's side, it's like they're there and they're gone. So
They're out.
that's one piece of it.
I was talking to one of my guy friends. He was mad because he's a hater that Caitlin Clark is now the scoring champion for the NCAA. And I kind of had to look at him and I was like, well, get used to it. For the rest of your life, it's probably going to be a woman
Mhm.
because any man that's going to be good enough to beat it isn't staying around long enough to do it. So
Mhm.
who knows how long Caitlin will hold the record? Juju's been doing some crazy stuff at USC already as a freshman, but you get that longevity. And so you start to build more around those characters in the program than you do with the men.
Yeah. And think the other thing is too is like for so long it was one or two teams on the women's half that's going to win. Like
UConn,
for
UConn,
okay,
UConn, UConn, UConn.
like it's for me it started off being UConn and Tennessee. So that's like Pat Summer
Yeah.
was rest in
Yes.
peace, do her thing. Candace Parker, yes, and all that stuff. It was those two. It's like mainly UConn, but still Tennessee is like, can I get them this year? Nope.
Right.
Can I get them this year? Nope. Can I get them this year? Yay! Next year, UConn again. So it was like years of just UConn
Yeah.
smacking everybody. But then
Weren't
UConn
they on
started
like a
taking a little
100 game winning streak or something crazy?
111, 110, 111,
Yes.
something like that.
Insane.
So, you know, that was years of that going on.
Mm-hmm.
And we had to, that was like 2017 when it finally changed.
When Brianna Stewart left, so 2016, 2016, 2017, somewhere around in there, yeah.
Yeah. So after that time, we started seeing them go down just a little bit. They were still UConn, but it wasn't like dominating everything every year, UConn. That South Carolina started to step up more. You started to see other little teams sprinkle in more here and there. Notre Dame had that run for a minute, but you started to see more names and more players becoming recognizable. And now it's kind of
Who
like South
knows?
Carolina's game to lose. Yeah. But it's still like who you don't know.
Yeah, South Carolina's undefeated, but they typically don't do super great in the tournament. You got LSU, who's still in a great position as defending champs. Iowa,
Mm-hmm.
UConn,
Mm-hmm.
USC. There's a lot of options out there. I'm really excited for this season, this tournament.
Yeah, I think that this year is going to be very special for that. And I'm kind of I don't say pessimistic about it, but I'm just concerned at least for South Carolina because they've kind of been like overachieving this entire year.
Mm-hmm.
Like nobody can sit here and say we expect them to go undefeated again. Like no one can say that. Like come on now, they lost everybody. Like they lost Leah Boston, all the
Yeah,
awards she had, number 1 overall pick,
they
the
lost all
whole
the starters.
everybody. You got a whole bunch of young girls coming in, taking their spot, and like, oh, undefeated. You be lying. Like that's tough.
It's the power of a good coach too, though.
I saw an article. I didn't read it yet, but it's like, is this Dawn's best coaching performance? Because, like I just said, she did so much with lower expectations. So
Right.
I don't know.
I don't know, but she's definitely showed up. I saw that she got Coach of the Year, so very well deserved.
Mm,
Very well
yeah.
deserved.
So no, I don't know. I hope they kind of, make a nice little run, at least Elite Eight, Final Four. I don't really have like a strong dog in the fight enough to be like go team. I'm just like really hoping for great games. So
Some
I don't
madness.
know. Mm.
Who do
So
you
do you
have
have
winning?
like a certain team you're kind of looking for?
See it? Yeah, I got
Uh,
you. Put you on the spot.
Dang it. Okay. Who do I have winning? Um, that's tough. I'm gonna say South Carolina, but if I had to have a underdog in this fight, this is me being biased as heck. But Juju, I just want her to like go crazy.
I mean, that's exactly where I'm at. I'm like, I want South Carolina to win. Perfect season. I think Coach Dawn, she deserves it. The team deserves it. And if it can't be them, victory, fight on. Let's go, Trojans. I'm ready
Oh
to
yeah.
see it. I'm a
Of course,
California
the
girl.
LA girl goes with them. All right, whatever. But okay, this is kind of me like being very narrowly biased. But I would love if Haley and Liv got like a taste of that too, because LSU has theirs, but Haley transferred there,
Oh,
for her
yeah.
last year. So I kind of like, if I had to pick somebody else, I would like for her to have that. But it's other reasons why I'm not a fan of LSU. But
Right.
that's another
I like
conversation.
LSU overall, but I don't want them to win back to back. I'd rather.
Hmm.
I mean, Iowa, Caitlin Clark winning after the year she's had would be a nice little story to tell.
Hmm.
But I kind of want to see my girl Paige Buckets win. So we're going back to the Yukon days. And if she can win it, that'd be cool too.
I mean, she's staying another year, so if she don't get it this year.
She got another year. That's true. This draft is going to be crazy too for the WNBA.
Oh yeah, I
It's
think this year and next year gonna be nice.
insane. Think about all the people going in the next 2 years for 22 spots.
Hmm.
Crazy.
I think the W has to. I'm not trying to make it, about that, but I think the W has to do something soon because you're going to have so much talented girls just not playing for you,
Mm-hmm.
and that's going to cause a bigger issue. Like something's going to happen to where it's like, okay, there's no reason why we have the last 2 years half our lottery picks are not playing. Like that's going to be an issue.
And they're the ones
So,
bringing in a huge group of fans. Like college is what's funneling in the fans, I think, into the WNBA right now. Because
mhm.
there's so much young talent. So exciting to watch them. And so we'll see. We know 2 teams are coming, but I don't know when they start. Because I know they're getting one in the Bay.
Mhm.
But I'm not sure. They haven't even announced names yet. So it may be a minute.
I think it's gonna be like 2 years, maybe 3. Yeah, that's my guess. But, so we'll see. But hopefully they can figure that out because you don't want to like this is perfect opportunity to have the W take that ramp up and take the next step for
Yes.
them because you have so many talented girls. Like if Caitlin Clark can bring that Magic to the next level, that's gonna be special to see.
Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese. Well,
Yeah,
she has one more year. She going to the draft. She has one more
she said she didn't know what she's doing yet, so we don't know. But 9 times out of 10, she gone. If I had to guess.
year. You think so? Last year she said she stayed because it wasn't. She was making more money playing college ball than she would in the WNBA.
Okay, but what more do you gain from this year besides money? Like, what do you gain from
What
coming
do you
back?
gain from staying?
Yeah,
Your degree. A lot of
okay.
WNBA players are working multiple jobs, so unless she decides to
I
go
mean,
overseas, she may need it.
I feel like she can maintain well enough without that. I don't think that's the highest priority for her, if I'm just being honest. I mean, I don't know. Once again, never met this young lady, so I can't have any like insight of being like,
Like
yeah, I
real
know Angel,
insight.
she ain't doing it. You feel me? So, but I'm hoping she does what's best for her. I'm not
Right.
any no ill will towards her, nothing like that. But I'm just like, man, she's going pro. If I had to guess, but I
Maybe.
don't know.
This may be the year.
It depends on the rest of the girls too. Because if half of them are leaving, or like enough of them are leaving, it's like LSU
It's
ain't
time.
looking too
Yeah.
good.
Everybody's out. I guess I'm out too.
Yeah, so it
We'll
really depends. It depends on how they go out too. I think that'll play a factor.
I think they'll be okay going through the tournament though. I don't think they're gonna win it all, but I think they'll be all right. At least Elite Eight.
Mm.
At least.
Yeah, I gotta see the matchups because it should be enough to get them to the Elite Eight. But we'll see because it's March Madness once again. That's where excitement
The
comes in.
best part. All the upsets. Somebody was asking me at work, they're like, I don't know how to do my bracket. I haven't really been paying attention. I said, just take guesses. In the men's bracket last year, after the first round, there wasn't a single perfect bracket left. Just like no one is actually good at this. That's part of the fun.
Yeah, because you can have like the most strategic, analytical breakdown of both teams, and like you can watch the professionals and what they say, and it's just like
No.
nobody knows. Nobody
And then
knows
all
at
of a
all.
sudden, a 15 seed beats a 2 seed and every 2 seed and everybody's bracket's busted first round. And you're like, well,
Mm-hmm.
there it is. Welcome to March Madness.
Yep.
The
And you had
stakes
that
are
one person
elevated.
is like, I knew they were going to win. Like, bro, you went there. That's why you said that. Like, that's why you picked them. Like, come on, bro. Like, don't sit here and act like you
Hey,
just
don't clown people. That's how I feel this year. Long Beach made it to the tournament. I got them beating Arizona.
listen. I'm not clowning y'all. I'm just saying, don't act like you just some mastermind.
My Long Beach shirt's sitting outside. Amazon just dropped it off. I had to get a new shirt. I don't fit my other ones. You're about to be Long Beach all up in here.
Well, congratulations, Long Beach and every other 13, 14, 15, 16. Congrats to all of y'all. But
Hey, it's a big deal.
don't act like you some mastermind basketball guru that just knew they were going to upset. You went there. Your cousin went there. Your little brother playing. That's why you picked them. I'm gonna be biased when I do my bracket because I'm picking. If I know you, I'm got you going some kind of far until
Right,
we
the
run into
homie
South
went to
Carolina
San
or somebody.
Diego. I got San Diego going.
That's it. Like I'm probably finna pull Long Beach just for you. Like I'm. That's how biased I am with my brackets this year.
It's not a dumb one. Arizona lost to as a second. They were the 2 seed last year. Lost to the 15 seed in the first round. It's doable.
You're seeing it pretty much every year. It's one of them big teams
It's
get
one of
knocked
those.
out.
Nines usually beat the eights, but it's usually, yeah, the 13 seed will win too. I don't know. I'm just excited. It's the environment, like the first 2 days of just nonstop basketball from the time you wake up to the time you go to bed. I even was briefing my team at work. I was like, if you go on the NCAA website, there's an at work button. Don't get in trouble. Y'all still got a job to do, but just click that button. It'll send you right back to your emails.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's so much fun to watch.
Yeah, like that's it's bittersweet because you will have. I think some might have been last year, or the year before. They're like companies found out that like this time of year is one of the least productive times because so many people are like just the tab over from watching games, and they're just like, why are numbers dropping so much? Because you got their alma mater finna upset the biggest team in the nation. Like
Yale's about to beat Duke. I got things to do.
nobody care about this report, man.
It'll be here when the game is over, and then you're like, "Oh, sorry, you rolled into another game."
Mm-hmm.
It's so exciting. It's a good
Yeah.
time of
So
year.
yeah. I forgot I asked you earlier. Hey, hold on. Time out real quick. We're gonna get back to the episode. I know you're enjoying it. I know you're enjoying the show. But I need you to help me real quick and to make sure this episode can grow, make sure this podcast and show can grow overall, and you can keep getting great guests like this. Make sure that you subscribe and follow along. So if you watch right now on YouTube, help me out by hitting the subscribe button. Go ahead and do it real quick. If you're listening in your car, chill out for a second. If you're on Apple or on Spotify, just like when you get a moment, hit the follow button, but not right now while you're driving. If you're working out or something, or you chilling in your room, then go ahead and subscribe with me. Like, help me help you, okay? But thank you for watching. I really appreciate you. I'm gonna stop interrupting. Let's get back to the episode. Thank you. Oh well, we can go to the men's side. Um, any thoughts on that? Any predictions on that side of
On the men's
March
side,
Madness life? Yeah.
I don't know. I've changed my men's bracket probably 3 times already. Right now, I have Kentucky winning. Do I feel confident in Kentucky winning? No. So will I go back and probably change it again before Thursday? Yes. But right now we have Kentucky winning. I did have Kansas winning. And then I changed it earlier today. Turns out their star player just hurt his knee, so that was a good call.
Mm.
That was a smooth change, real quick. But I don't know. I haven't really been watching a lot of the men's. I've been catching the highlights, but watching way more women's this year. So I feel less confident in the men's bracket, but sometimes, again, those are the best bets.
Yeah. I'm trying to find who this team was, but Houston, that's who it was.
Oh
I saw
yeah,
somebody that
Houston
was
as
like,
a 1 seed.
yeah. But I just saw a post and they were like, well, they saw they saw this video of Drake dapping up some of the Houston players. And they're like, well, thank you. I need to see this just in time to fill out my bracket to know who not to pick because that was
Hey,
perfect
the
timing for
Drake
them.
curse is real. The Drake
The
curse
fact
is
that that is a
real.
real thing, like that is pretty sad.
It's up there with the Kardashian curse. Like when people are betting against whatever team Drake votes is rooting for is a problem.
Yeah. So just from that, they was like, ooh, I need to see this just in time.
You're right,
Houston
like
out.
remove.
I had them going to the Final Four. Change that. Scratch them
Real
out.
quick.
Move them.
Real quick.
Boom.
Good call.
Yeah, the Drake
Yeah, I
curse
saw
is
they gave him
very.
a jersey the other day.
Mm. But
These
that's
new
also why Kentucky's not a good pick because Drake is
a Kentucky fan.
affiliated with them.
Listen, I
Yeah.
said I'm not confident in it. I just can't find the hole in my bracket yet. Like when I'm scrolling, I'm like, yeah. And then I get to the end and I'm like, no. I don't know where it's going wrong. So I'm like, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out before game time.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm same as you. I haven't been keeping up too much with the men's side, and I'm trying to like tap into it. But I'm pretty sure I'm just like super biased on that side too. It's just like, okay, I know these couple players. Are you my homie? You like them? Cool. Let's move them up too.
Bet.
And my champion will be like some super underdog. I'm just like biased as heck when I do this. So
Hey, I mean, it's a
hey,
good bet.
I'm gonna go. I'm
Gotta
gonna
keep-
get some of them right. That's all that matter.
Yeah, I got a little bit of money on the line. Not like a lot of it. It's really only $5. But hey, that's lunch. It's coffee. Not even lunch. It's coffee money. So we'll see.
Yeah, but um, do you have any players you're looking out for on the men's side? Do you even have like a awareness of a player?
I mean, I do. I just don't care that much. I think it'll be interesting to see really with the hype around Bronny, right? So I think all the hype around him or the pressure more so than anything is kind of really unfair for a kid who wasn't even sure he was going to play this season because of medical reasons.
Mhm.
Um, who they're putting in mock drafts and all of this pressure on him. I'm interested to see what happens in the tournament on the big stage because he hasn't even officially said if he's staying another year or entering the draft yet.
Yeah,
So we'll see. I'm interested to see how that goes. How he deals with the pressure for it, how USC does overall. I think they're ranked a little bit higher than they typically are going into the tournament. If they make the tournament, California teams aren't consistent in that realm. Uh, so I think that's really the story I'm trying to follow this time around.
yeah. His whole college career is going to be super interesting, no matter what,
Yeah,
because every move he makes, every decision he does is like, oh, is this him hinting at leaving next year? Is this him? Like, come on, bro. Like, let him experience his life and like let him do his thing. And
I
part of it, no, go ahead.
no, I just got annoyed when the mock draft came out, right? So they had him in like the low 30s. And then like LeBron starts tweeting about leaving him alone. And I'm like, but this is you. Like Bronny
Yeah,
hasn't said anything. You're the one that has been pushing this hype around him. And now it's, oh, he's not looking at being a number one. Now leave him alone. He should have been quiet a long time ago. Like, just let the kid play. He's
hmm
19 years old, 18 years old. Just let him figure it out and play. And yeah, get that experience. I don't even know if he's truly really got to enjoy it.
yeah. That's exactly what I was gonna say. Like, part of it is his dad's fault because he put the whole thing about out there. Like, I want to play with my son if I can before I retire.
I'm going to go
And
where my son goes. Blah,
yeah,
blah, blah.
all that weird stuff. I'm like, come on, bro. Like, don't do that to him. Like, he already has your name. Like, you cursed him from jump being LeBron Jr. Like, that's the hard thing. Coming up, number 6, LeBron James. Excuse me, sir, it's LeBron James Jr. Oh, LeBron James Jr. Like, everybody going crazy thinking LeBron finna walk out court, but it's just the son. And it's like
It's his son.
that's tough to live up to off top. And we haven't seen juniors do that well. Like, we're just seeing like that next influx of like NBA players' sons doing well. Because usually
Yeah.
it's
They're
a
like,
role player dad raising superstar sons, or it's superstar dads raising average role player sons, and they don't even make it to the league. If they do, it's like a
like,
year or two, and they're out. Yeah,
or, see, that's wild. Austin Rivers. It's like Doc Rivers' kid. It's like, Austin, I know his name, I swear. But yeah, like those players. See, point made.
but
Um,
yeah, it's like Steph Curry and his dad. Dad was a role player. Steph took it next level.
yeah, man,
Clay kind of falls in line with his dad a little bit, but he's more bigger name, but it's
that's true.
tied to other stuff too. But
What? Yeah, yeah. Yeah. I mean, even if you're looking at college, thinking about like Sanders and his son and or both his boys, and they're good. What are they doing
mhm.
on Sanders? Good.
And that's tough too. Even with them playing, well, at least one of them playing a whole different position.
Right.
It's going to be, are you prime time level of player that your dad was? Like, bro, I'm playing Matter of fact, not even different position. I'm playing the opposite side of the whole field. Like we're not even like on the same stratosphere of talking football, like
Even bigger than
defense
that,
and
it's not
offense.
even the same game as when his dad played. It's a completely
Exactly.
different game at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel bad for them in those situations sometimes. You don't get a fair chance to like make a name for
Hmm.
yourself.
Yeah, because everything you do is gonna be how oh his dad did that. I'm like, bro, like my dad, like Shaq and his son, like that was one of the dumbest ones. Like, bro, my Shaq was a whole 7'1", 7'2" beast. I'm 6'8". What do you expect from me to do? I'm slim and skinny. Don't do that. Like,
It's like weird, not this. Who also had medical issues in college, like all like,
yeah.
starting. I'm like, what is with these LA schools and these conspiracy theory in the making? But yeah, it's just real. Hey, one was at UCLA, one was down the street at USC. I'm just saying. But
Mm,
yeah, it's not fair. It's not setting him up for success. But I'm hoping that whatever he decides, it's his decision, right? And like not anybody else's. Um, or he doesn't feel the pressure to make a certain decision.
yeah. I feel like that is he's in a very weird space because he could jump out now and I feel like he's gonna get a shot
He'll get
no
a
matter
shot
what.
just
Like some
because of who his
team,
dad is.
yeah. It's like some team will take that risk and be like, uh, he said his dad gonna come, right? Pick him. Like we got a spot to
Right.
pick him.
We gonna move him to the
We
G
finna
League after
gamble.
LeBron signed, though.
Man, we gonna gamble this pick away. If we get an opportunity to get LeBron signed, I will take him number 6. I don't care. Get him because his dad's number 1 overall pick. We doing that. It's a 2-for-1 deal. Bet. Draft him where we need to. I'll
It's
risk this because you get LeBron. Like, come on,
it's
man.
like Giannis and his brothers.
Yes. Yes.
Like, well, if this is they're a package deal, we take in the package. It's worth it.
I would hey, the Nasses, what your brother say? Cool. Do you think, fam? You need how much? Giannis? You need oh, let me check the books real quick. We'll see if we can,
Move some stuff around.
all right, what if we just get him a car instead and we just sign him for this much? All right, cool. Okay, cool, cool.
Yep.
But like that's LeBron James deal. It's like, man, we get the chance to. Hey,
We make it
Bronny,
work.
we'll figure something out. So that's why I feel like that's kind of sucks for him too, because like he can come out now and I guarantee there's some GM that's like, let's gamble it, fellas. We're gonna look at it. Let's see if LeBron can come for real. So I don't know. I hate it for him though, but there's a lot of pressure that he has on his shoulders.
It's a lot of pressure. Pretty such a young guy. Should be focused on his health overall. I am glad he's doing better. That was a really scary situation.
Yeah, because like it was kind of random and out the blue.
Yeah.
And we saw like somebody else not too far along from that. Like I think it was a football player. I think had the same thing.
DeMar
I
Hamlin?
think so.
I think DeMar
No, no,
Hamlin's
no.
was a little bit more severe.
His was before.
A
His
football
was like
player?
it was worse.
Shaq's
I
son.
think so. It was some college player. No, it
Shaq's
was like in that same time frame. Like
oh,
it was Bronny and then somebody else.
a
Like
college.
maybe a month later.
I don't know. It's been a lot of young guys, and I don't know what's happening, but for the last maybe half a decade, it's been a lot.
Mm,
And some of it might be strain and like overtraining, but I don't know. It's scary.
yeah, that's gonna be something that I feel like in a good 10 years, maybe at the earliest, we're gonna look back at it and be like, "Oh, this is what was going on during this time frame of these groups or era of guys were dealing with this situation." But in the moment, we don't know what's going on. It's just like pockets of things happening. But we're gonna look back at it and say, "Oh, they were dealing with stress and this pressure or
Mhm.
whatever social media's been doing to like whatever factors are going to be the main culprits of this." That's what we're gonna look back at it and see like, "Oh, that's what happened with this heart issue they've been
Or a
having."
medical thing like CT that took so many years to
Mhm.
figure out what was happening. Still don't know a lot about it, right?
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, but overall, I'm a fan of Bronny. I hope he does his thing one way or another. And wherever he goes, whatever he does, I hope it's his decision, and
Right.
you know
He's
he
doing it
does
for
great.
himself.
Yeah, because like being in March Madness is a lot of pressure in itself. Like, forget the fact of who his family is. Like, being at USC, which is a big school, in March Madness, competing to win, that's a lot of stress and pressure.
Yeah.
Like for any college kid, on top of the schoolwork and everything, on top of trying to still build and have personal relationships and be a human being. Like, all these things are happening in one time.
Right.
Now, granted, you
In
do
the
have a
city
sector
where
of
your
people who are
dad
like,
is playing at that. Your
that's
dad's down the
yeah,
street. Like it's got to be a lot.
yeah, that's a lot. So it's,
I'm sure though.
they're gonna have to do a documentary just on him.
Hey, I think it's a win. I think it's a double-edged sword kind of situation. Like, yes, it's probably really hard, especially being in LA. And also, I bet he loves being able to go home to his mom and his family in that environment when it does start to get a lot. Like, imagine going through this
Yeah,
and everybody else is across the country.
yeah,
So I think it's
that's a lot.
kind of a give and a take.
I think it's different for him too, because even though his dad is the cause of it, his dad can deal with it too. Like, he's like, if I could go to anybody in the history of all athletics of how do you handle pressure and how do you deal with this attention, he's probably the one person. Like, if I had one phone call of anybody in history, I might choose him, because 20 something years of dealing with that and not having real slip ups, like anything like actually tarnishing his legacy as a human being, that's probably the one person I would probably call.
That's fair.
And so
He's
that's the man to
competed
go to. Like,
for
that's
his entire career.
yeah. So I don't know. I think he's going to be okay overall, but there's really no telling. There's so many factors that go into it. So we will see, young Bronny. We will see. But overall, man, pressure in March Madness is such a interesting thing. And I think sometimes we underestimate how much pressure teams feel, and how underestimate how like pressure less teams feel, because that's where you get the upsets coming in. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
man, we got to lose. Yeah, everybody in the nation gave us 99% rating of losing. So hey, we
What's
lose,
there to
cool.
lose? Everybody already thought we
We
were going
win.
to lose.
You hear me? Like, you have nothing to lose but everything to gain.
Right?
But on the other side of it, South Carolina, everything to lose,
Yeah.
and like 2% gain because it's kind of expected. And so, how do you feel like the pressure is overall? And how would you, like, if you were presented to talk to one of the higher ranked seeds and like, hey, actually, you should come talk to the young ladies, the young men about how to handle the pressure situation? What would like your presentation, like your talk, be around and be about?
We were actually talking about this offline. I tell people all the time, like, pressure is a privilege, right? Billie Jean King. But people forget the other part of that quote. She talks about pressure is a privilege because it means people have an expectation for you and that they know that you're capable of doing it. It's not like pressure just doesn't come out of nowhere. It's because people know that you can perform well. You know that you can perform well. And so it relies
Mhm.
on trusting your instincts and relying on your training. I think so many people get into environments like March Madness or big games, and all of a sudden, everything that they've practiced and known in their whole entire career just goes out the window because they think that the conditions are different. But the reality
Mhm.
is, if you're practicing at a high pace, you're taking every game seriously, then there is no difference. And so, if you can
Mhm.
stay in your focus, in your zone, stay calm, you're going to be fine. It's the teams that all of a sudden, oh, this is so big, so much is riding on this. All right, I've lost myself, I've lost my center, that tend to fail. And you can tell when they come out like really fast paced, speeding, missing a lot of shots right up bat. That tells me already that you are, I'm going to get sciencey, but like over energy, your energy activation is too high. And so if you can't be able to regulate that and recognize that and bring that down, it's going to fail pretty quickly. So, what would I tell a team overall? Trust your preparation. Confidence in a lot of
Mhm.
situations comes from preparation. And so, if you have trained properly, you will perform properly. So, they have to trust that.
I think there's two sides to that coin. Um, we're both Kobe lovers, and he was a big preparation guy.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was like, I've before the game started, I took 500 shots.
Yep.
The game winner I hit is going to be shot attempt number 526. That's how he saw it because it's just building up of the reps I put in. So like the game winner, there's no more, no less to it. It's just another shot that I've trained for already. So the preparation kept him even keeled to where
Mm-hmm.
it's just another shot. You feel me? Like this is what I trained, this is what I prepared for. I knew he was gonna foul me. I knew defense was gonna do this. I've trained and prepared for this all summer long. This week building up to it, pregame, I watched the film, I did whatever I need to do. So when this moment came, it's nothing. But I think there's the other side of the coin where you have people who live for that moment. You see the role player who they ain't played all game. They come in the last 2 minutes and it's like, oh, it's my time to shine. You feel me? Hey, give me that last minute shot. I'm cooking. You boy, you leave me open. You was hey, coach me cussing you out because I'm finna hit this shot. And so that moment was what people build up to. It's like, man, please let this game be close. I will torch you. I will live to this moment.
Yep.
Like, so I think you kind of have to have like that balance of this is nothing. This is just routine preparation. I prepared for this. But then there's like that psychological ramp up of like, ooh, this moment is yes, I am ready for this.
Like, this is my moment to prove myself, but you still got to be
Mhm.
able to regulate that energy. So like, because I could be like, this is my moment. I'm so excited. Like, have you seen, like, you see it, like the players that are like bouncing, 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 right? They're not probably
Mhm.
going to do great. But I think about, what's her name on South Carolina when she hit the game winning three. Uh, uh,
Oh, Cardoso.
yeah. So like that is what, when I like what you're talking about, that's what I think of, right? But that's something in her trusting her preparation. She hasn't made a three all season in a game. But if you listen to her interview, she kept saying, I shoot threes at practice just in case. So then the coach
Mhm.
tells her, shoot the ball. She shot the ball and she was able to rise to that occasion. I also think it was really cool that her family was there from Brazil and like that was the first game they got to like the whole moment was just heartwarming to me. Um
Yeah.
so yeah, you got to be able to rise to the occasion, but if I've never shot a three, I'm not waiting till March Madness to start chucking up threes. Like that's
Mhm.
not the time. Um but it's also, yeah, I think the difference between those seats that are rated very high or ranked very high compared to those that have nothing to lose is exactly why we get the upsets we get. They're like, whatever, let's take risks. Let's just give this effort. They've already counted us out. And then what happens on the other end is a lot of times those high ranked teams go, oh, a 16 seed, we're good. We can pull back a little bit till that pullback just got you
Mhm.
ran through.
Yeah. I think that's what the real leadership and coaching comes in
Oh, 100%.
because you have a level setting that tone of like, hey, I really don't care what rank this team is. I don't care what rank we are.
Mm-hmm.
The goal is to win. How do we win? Do the same things we've done every game leading up to here.
Yep.
So we're not gonna skip the steps of like, oh, first quarter, let's go easy, kind of like whatever. Like, no, no, no.
Let's play with it.
We're here to win. We're here to. This is a mission. We're focused, right? This ain't vacation. This is a business trip.
Yeah.
We're traveling over here to handle business. So a lot of that comes from coaching, like the leadership.
Mhm.
Even if it's not the coach, it's like the players. Like, hey, tighten up. We're here to kill.
And recognizing when you say that, like with coaches and those leaders, recognizing when people aren't either taking it seriously or they're putting too much pressure on themselves and being able to like acknowledge that is huge, especially with college players because they're still young. Like some of these
Hmm.
kids that are kids, they're adults, but some of them are 18, 19 years old. They've never dealt with something like this. And so being able to recognize that as well is huge. And then I also guess remembering it's a marathon, not a sprint. It's not one game. It's game after game after game after game with very short
Yeah.
recovery in between. and you still got class.
Yeah, like that's the weird part about it too, because you go from a set pattern and schedule for months,
Mm-hmm.
and out the blue you get punched in the mouth for a brand new schedule,
Yep.
and it's such a next level higher stakes, and it's like so much energy is thrust upon you that you've never dealt with before. If this is like your freshman year or this is your first experience in the tournament, it doesn't matter what year you are. Like this could be your senior year or fifth year, first time in March Madness, and it's like, whoa, I've never experienced anything like this.
Yeah.
So how do you regulate and manage all of that going on and still expected to perform? And you're like your body is broken and beat down. It's been a long season. Mentally, you're high and low because you're tired, but then it's like you're excited and then you're nervous and you're anxious. Like, how would you manage all of that together and it's next month?
And you're not at home. You're staying in a hotel room because they're not going to let you play a home game. So you don't even have your support system outside of your team, depending where you're at. It's a lot of pressure. Typically, though, with athletes that I've worked with heading to March Madness, I usually have them focus on a little bit of mindfulness. So being able to be in the moment, not judging themselves, be able to find that right level of focus for them in that moment. And then we also talk a lot about like short-term memory loss. Like have a memory like a goldfish. So you make a mistake, it's done. It's over. Like let it go. Don't think about that. But the same with successes. You hit a really nice shot. You can't still be thinking about the shot. I always think about my clients are getting younger and younger, so they don't get this reference as much. But I'm really gonna hope you get this reference. I always think about Love and Basketball when she hits that three and she leaves her arm up there and doesn't get back on defense, right? Like you got to be able to bounce back even when you have that great moment because the game is still happening. We're still playing. And so recognizing that piece as well. You got that reference, right?
Yeah. Yes. Okay. All right. Don't do that. We did this before we recorded. Don't do it now. Okay. Like leave the. Don't do that to me. Okay.
It's one of my.
That annoyed me for real. Dang. We were doing so
I'm
good,
sorry.
and then you just want to like put that on me. All right,
It
whatever.
was the perfect moment. It was like on a platter.
Well, I'm gonna pull this reference and actually use this for myself.
Okay.
Instead of like being like goldfish, I haven't used it yet, but it's like telling my players like be like Dory, just have short term memory,
Absolutely.
just
And just
forget
keep
about
swimming.
it.
And just keep swimming.
Exactly. That's the add on to it. It's like, hey, Dora is like her thing was she remember just keep swimming. She forget everything else, but she remember just keep swimming. So in that moment, I don't even remember what happened. Just keep swimming. I don't. If somebody threw a shot at me, telling like I don't know loving basketball. You got to forget about it and you just keep swimming. She wanted to throw a shot before we recorded, saying I didn't remember. So you just got to forget about it and just keep swimming.
Yeah, just keep swimming. Just keep swimming. I that's a good example. I use a lot of those little models with my players. I have one pitcher whose her thing is like Hakuna Matata. So like if she makes a mistake, like it means no worries, just keep bounce back from it, keep going, one pitch at a time. It's also because she's very serious and it makes her laugh every time she says it. So we also need the positive emotion. But yeah, I think Dory is a good example as well.
I like Hakuna Matata. Lion King is one of my favorites, so I co-sign that. What you got to say? Go ahead.
No, so when my nephew was little, he got caught standing on the couch holding up his Yorkie. I think of Lion King, I just think of my nephew holding him up. And they were like, you get down right now. He's like, what happened in the movie?
How old was he?
He was like 5.
Oh, that's perfect. Yeah, that's a good one.
So that's what I was thinking of him, just like, oh, having this blast. So
I did that before. It might have been my niece. I don't remember. But it was like some baby at some point a couple years ago, and I was just like holding him, and I just joking with him, holding him. And I like held him up like he did say the Lion King's like start singing Circles of Life, and I'm like I couldn't miss this opportunity. You feel me? Like I think we watched it not too long ago. So I like opportunity, don't waste it, use
I
it.
think most millennials have had that moment. It was just that he got caught, and his excuse was, "Well, it happened in the movie." So yeah, kids, kids,
Yeah, they feel no pressure.
none, no
That's what the thing
pressure.
is.
I
Mm.
guess that's another one. If we're going Disney references, have you seen Encanto?
Yes.
Surface pressure.
I'm not gonna make this whole
I'm not. I'm
Disney
not.
movie reference thing because some people are just like I haven't seen it, so whatever. But yes, I understand it. All right, okay, another time out. Okay, look, if you got to this point, you have to be enjoying the episode. Like you have to. At this point in the episode, you're enjoying it. So help me help you. Just if you're on Apple right now and you're on your phone, okay, just take your phone, press the subscribe button. It's right there. Just do that with me. Even if on your laptop, take your mouse, boom, click over, boom, do your thing. Now you subscribe. Now you linked in because you don't want to miss the next great episode that I have. But doing stuff like this helps the episode grow, makes the show grow, and the podcast grow so I can keep getting great guests and keep doing great interviews. So if you listen on Apple or Spotify, take a second, look at your phone, press the follow button, okay? And share with a friend or two because you'll find the value in this. You want to have this conversation with your friends so they can have the same value. Now the whole basketball community can grow. All right. Thanks for listening so far. I'm gonna get out your way. Let's get back to the episode. Appreciate you. But I think there also is the other side of it of people who like the top ranked
Mhm.
seeds and the pressure's on them. You know,
There's a
it's like
lot of
okay,
pressure on him.
you have one half of it where it's like you're doing too much under the pressure. But then you have other people who are just like going to step back to pressure. It's like, I don't want to mess up. I'm too timid. Or it's like, I don't get anxious. I get like, depressed about it. It's like,
Yeah.
oof, I got too much on me. So how would you balance that for like you have half the locker room that's doing too much and the other half is like stepping back from it? How'd you regulate that?
So if I had a team in front of me, the first thing I would probably do is talk about like individual zone of optimal functioning, which is the whole thing to say is basically as your energy activation increases, so does your performance to a point where you have too much energy to not perform well. So helping them figure out when you perform the best, what does that look like? And then how can we backwards plan to get you into that mindset? So what that typically does though for teams is it shows people, hey, you over here that have a lot of energy, maybe this works for you. Maybe this is where you need to be. If that's where you need to be, you need to stay there. If you need to pull it back, pull it back.
Mm-hmm.
But don't get in the way of the people over here on the low energy side that need to be low energy to perform at their best. So we start right there. Like
Mm-hmm.
find out what's right for you so you can start to acknowledge that. But the other piece is like pressure makes diamonds. So you can choose to rise to this occasion. Some people, it does make them really anxious or it can make them sick to their stomach. Typically, when people get sick, I just talk about why our physiology does that. So it's understanding that you have a choice in the way that you respond to it. So don't look at it like a threat, look at it like a challenge. This is an opportunity, not a consequence. So being able to say, hey, I'm gonna rise to this opportunity. I'm gonna prove what I've got because we're not here on accident. Like I think people forget that sometimes when they start to feel pull back. You're not here on accident. You didn't just stumble your way through a 30 game season and happen to be in second place. That's not how that works.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to stick to the equation that's gotten you here. And then for those that are low energy or especially starting to feel sick or getting that depression, it's really coming through like metacognition. What are you thinking? Thinking about your thinking. and being able to identify that, like, if I can identify these thoughts that aren't working for me, then I can change them. But if I just let myself mind wander into space and never be able to regulate my thinking, then this isn't going to get any better. So being able to grab a little bit of that self-control.
Mm. Yeah, I think at this point you should be aware of these things. Like, you should know, because this isn't your first big game out of 30-something games in the season. You know, you've had if you're an underdog, you play some bigger team at some point. Like, that's how you make your bread. So you've had this game at some point, or you've had some big rivalry game or some big conference game. It's like, oh, we're playing the whatever ranked team in the nation or this ranked team in our conference. Like, oh, we're playing them now. Let's see what we can do. You know, so
That's a should.
at this point,
But the title of March Madness pulls them out of it real quick.
that's what I'm saying. Like, you have to have some level of correlation, like as a reference point to say, okay, we've had some level of a big moment. So let's figure out what the preparation was for that big moment and just rinse and repeat for this one. So it might be 10 times bigger, but the preparation, like you said earlier, should still be there, because you can't just negate the preparation that went into it. So if you had a pregame routine, hey, as best as you can, I know things going to be a little different, but as best as you can,
still do that routine.
Figure that out.
And if you
And
can't
you
do that
still
routine,
do that because you don't want to just deviate.
you have other options.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you're just having some reference point to go back to say, hey, this ain't the first time we've done anything like this. This ain't like your first time playing basketball, right? Oh, it's not amazing. This is another basketball game.
It's not your first.
Let's figure out what we did before and just rinse and repeat it to this situation, this moment. So just don't overcomplicate it.
Agreed. And they overcomplicate. But yeah, that's the goal. Don't overcomplicate it. Just do what you do. It's another day at work.
I think sometimes it's hard to, like, we say these things, but then it's hard to actually like digest it and process it and do it.
Right.
Because it's like, oh man, my mom's gonna be watching, or it's like, oh, this is the first time I'm playing on this stage, and this person I've seen on TV is finally here courtside or whatever. And it's like, so I did the pregame work. I've done the build up to it. And now tip off is here.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm still kind of going through doing too much. Yeah. How would you kind of get them back in the middle of that game to say, oof, okay, the first 5 minutes you were trash, but hey, we still have this much going on in the game. Calm yourself down to get back.
So one, control your breathing. So it's funny because I know my athletes get so sick of me. My pilots that I get work with get so sick of me when I'm like, control your breathing, breathe better. But it works because it helps us manage our heart rate, which also helps us manage or communicates with our amygdala and helps us manage our fight or flight response, right? So if I can bring down my fight or flight response, my cognitive functioning opens up. I'm more likely to look at things in a more realistic manner. I'm more likely to have some mental agility, problem solving. So, hey, this shot's not working. Here are other options that I can do to maybe drive to the hole, right? So we want to be able to manage that. But also, I think the harder piece at that point is usually those are players that know what they're doing isn't working for them. They just haven't always developed or know how to regulate their physiology to get them back on track. So like they know these thoughts aren't happening. They're telling themselves it's just a game. It's just a game. Like I've done this, I've been here, and it's still getting out of control. It's because they just haven't quite developed the skills yet, or they don't believe what they're telling themselves, which is, it happens a lot. But yeah, I think for them, the biggest thing is control your breathing. Get that heart rate under control. It's going to help you in a lot of your performances. And that's something easy you can do while you're waiting on defense, while someone's shooting a free throw, while you're waiting for the ball to come in. Just take a few diaphragmatic breaths, and that has a huge benefit for such a little bit of time.
Yeah, the more I learn about the importance of breathing, the more overall I'm like, I need to meditate more. I need to make that like a regular part of my life, because I try to make things very simplistic and dumbed down as best as I can to make it digestible and understandable. I understand meditation is more complex than this. I understand. I'm not trying to
Kind of,
downgrade it to be like.
but not really.
I mean, it is more to it than that. I'm not saying like that's uh the one bit of piece it is. It gets more complex than that. Especially listening to some people, it's like, all right, bro, you went to like Einstein level talking about this. It's like, bro, just breathe, you know. So that's all I make it try to be is like just breathing. That's all meditation is like breathing,
Yeah.
controlling your breath to where you can control your thoughts, you control your actions, and so on and so
Yep.
forth. But just being able to be mindful of your
Hmm.
breath. Now, the benefits of that, that's where you can get more complex into like it can do this for your mental health and this for your body. Like, okay, cool. Just breathe.
Hmm.
Okay, cool. That's all it is. And so that's where the pregame work, that's part of what the preparation should be of like we practice meditation, we practice our breathing as a part of our preparation all season long. So now big moments come, go back in my backpack of like, what do I do to prepare? Oh, I meditate before games to prepare. So now you're not just in the middle of the game freestyling. I heard Ashley on the podcast, I need to breathe. So let me, like, it's a little bit easier to go pull something out of your backpack that you put there and know where it is exactly to pull it back out now versus I'm gonna throw this in right now and randomly try to put it together. And like, no, I've had 32 games of
Yeah.
breathing in the middle of the game. So now, big moment. Okay, I'm off track.
Right.
Now you can breathe.
Yeah. I think that is the piece that we're missing in this whole conversation is that like March Madness preparation should have started in preseason. So like
Mm-hmm.
regardless of what you thought your chances were of getting here, those skills like controlling your breathing, being able to regulate your thinking, being able to develop and maintain your routine, getting used to living in and out of a hotel, that all started months ago. If you waited
Mm-hmm.
till now, you're kind of too late. But some teams will, some players will step up, but it really should have started months ago. I was laughing when you were talking about already having the tool in your backpack. I talk about breathing all the time. And so I'll get an athlete who'll be like, well, I tried it one time on my free throw and it didn't work. So I don't like that. And I'm like, one time? You tried it one time. This is a skill. Did what? And they're like, well, it didn't work. So
Mm-hmm.
we got to try something else. No, you need to keep trying that and give it a few more rounds and then we'll go from there.
That's the biggest thing about all the meditation and mindset stuff. Like we just treat it like it's a magic pill.
Oh, they're
And
skills. You got to develop them.
I like I'm thirsty, I drink water, I'm not thirsty. I'm anxious, I meditate, I'm not anxious. That's not how the process works. I have to continue to practice like this. Drinking water is not a skill. It's just the action you
Right.
do. You don't have to once you learn how to grab a cup and learn how to like the process of like closing your diaphragm to open the other track of how you digest and consume food and liquids and stuff, you've mastered drinking. Like there's like no not wine testing. You just have to I taste a little paprika. Like no, it's not a skill of doing
Nope.
that. You just sit here and practice this skill of meditation and breathing versus drinking
Yep.
water. So the process is like, okay, try it. Try it again. And try it some more. Get a little bit better. All right, cool. This one sucked. Okay, cool. Keep trying
Mm-hmm.
again. And I think that's the part that we have to do better about preaching it. It's like it's a skill. Keep practicing, keep trying it. And the worst time to try to like practice a skill is in the middle of like a fight for lack of better
Yeah.
words. Like it ain't time to start learning how to play defense against Mike Tyson in the middle of the ring. Like you prepare for that way
Right.
before.
100%.
Yeah, so I just feel like we need to do a better job of preaching that along with the meditation. Like it's a skill, get better with it, practice it, and then at some point you won't suck at it.
Right. At
That's the
some point,
goal.
it becomes second nature. At some point, it works. But you got to be
Hmm.
patient. And I think sometimes, though, at least when it's type A people that you're working with, they don't always have that patience. They're like, no, I need something right now and it needs to work right now. And I'm like, it's not how this works. Maybe it'll work the first time, but that's not a guarantee. So they are skills. You're not magicians.
Yeah, yeah. I realize when stuff like that, I had to find some level of a short term win. like some type of short term win. Like in this moment, I need to feel better. Not to say I'm mastered it and I'm just a G with it, but I need to feel better than I did beforehand. And I try to use that when I'm going through pockets of like, I don't know if this is it. So I have to figure out some level of like, if there's some level, I have to find some percentage of truth, and that makes me feel better about the overall
Right.
process. So I'm not gonna be at 100, but I got 2% better. Okay, if I actually get better with this, I can get 5% better, and I gain more percentages as I go because I've accumulated. So now it's a downhill effect of like snowball effect. He's rolling, getting bigger. So
Progress, not perfection.
just figuring out progress is the only goal. You feel me? It's just
There it
that's it.
is.
You know. So yeah, that's the model for everybody for March Madness. Progress is the only goal. Everybody needs to figure out a way to get a hoodie or a t-shirt and just rep it. You feel me? Like go when you do the post game interview, you be like, hey, we just have to. Okay, this is like a tangent. It's a tangent. I know I was being dramatic, but post game interviews are some of the dumbest things because you have these human beings that are tired as heck. I done played a full game, overtime. I'm super energetic, and I'm not like cognitively all the way here. So I might be like slippage of vocabulary here and there. And you expect me to be professional here. Like I just hit the game winner. Do not touch me. I don't know you. Like I'm excited. I want to be with my teammates and all this stuff. Or I'm out of breath. I'm not professional here. So I think that's kind of dumb. Like they need to like figure out a better way to do that.
And then
Cause
they ask some ridiculous questions sometimes. So like,
oh man.
how'd you feel when you missed that shot? Like, well, how do you think I felt?
Yes. Like that's cool for like kids. But like when I've been through a 30 game season, this is my 4th year, and I've been to 2 or 3 March Madnesses. You can't figure out a better question that, like, come on now, like, let's do a little bit better journalism to say they probably feel like crap after this. Okay, let me play this with myself. If I ask you that question, what would your response be? And let me ask that question instead, because like me asking you that question is not a good
Let's go ahead
idea.
and
Like,
skip that middle question.
come on.
Just get to what I'm trying to. That's rough. It is rough.
Like, how do you bounce back from that miss? Oh, okay, that's a more
Right.
insightful question. Like, let's
Right.
go there because obviously I don't like it. It was fun missing that shot. We lost the game, and now we're going back home instead of being in the Final Four. Yeah. So let's skip all that. But anyway, that tangent messed me up because I forgot where I was going. Dang it,
Was it my fault this time?
I forgot. It wasn't. I didn't get a jab that this time. Okay, I can't blame you. Dang it, I wanted to blame you so bad, but I can't this time. Oh well, I guess we'll just go a different direction since I messed it up this time. But anyway, um, yeah, pressure. It can create diamonds or burst
Yep.
pipes.
It's all in the way you think.
What's that J. Cole line? Dang, what'd he say? Cold under pressure, what they make diamonds. I forgot the line before that, but we're just gonna stick with that part because it still lands. So you guys remember that it's called Return of Simba. Um, just in case you want to run it back. It's not on any of the albums or nothing. It's like on them Lucy's, so you can have to like YouTube it. So yeah, we speaking about Cole before this, so that kind of like stuck in my mind.
Ways.
But
What J. Cole wants a day.
yeah, this is my second time dropping a J. Cole line, so I'm doing pretty good here, guys. So that means J. Cole needs to get on the podcast so I can
Hey,
interview him.
fingers
That's all
crossed.
that means.
You need to drop the album first, and then we'll feed the people.
No, what would be perfect is what he does is come on a podcast. We talk about the album, and in a part of dropping the podcast, release the album with it. That'll be
Like a
some dope
special
marketing for
exclusive
both of us
moment.
because yeah, you feel me? Like nobody does that before. Nobody's ever done that. Like, why not break history on this podcast? Because it's me and it's you. Like, come on. Duh. But nah, anything else you want to leave the people with about pressure?
Yeah, we talked about it. Pressure is a privilege. Look at it like it's a challenge, an opportunity. It's not a consequence of your performance. It's a result of it. It's really a reward for it. So being able to be
Mm,
in those situations that are important enough to even give you a little the feeling of pressure. So continue to rise to the occasion.
mm. Was that your closing speech that we talked about before?
Less assertive like you had it seem, but yeah. You were like motivational. Really, yeah, rise to the occasion. Pressure's a privilege. It's an opportunity to prove yourself, to continue to prove yourself.
Mm, okay. I want y'all to comment if y'all feel motivated after listening to that. Because I told her she had to.
Not a motivational
I
speaker,
told her
a
she had to.
mental performance coach. There's a
Yeah,
difference.
it's in the family. It's all
Kind of.
related.
Kind of.
It's
Some days it feels like it. I have to be like, you're going to be good. No, look at me. You're going to be fine. I'm like, repeat after me. What did I say? Because it's a job sometimes.
mm. See, I'm just helping you get that half of your career, you know, rolling a little bit. So you're like, man, I heard her speech at the end of that part. I'm gonna clip that whole part and I'm gonna post it, and people be like, let me know how motivated you feel.
Super motivated. They're going to go out and
Like,
conquer the world after
woo,
listening to that.
yeah, let's go.
Watch. Somebody's going to go run a marathon because of it.
Run through a brick wall. Like, I'll do anything for her now. Let's go. Er,
I don't know. I don't know if
all
it's
because
run
of
through
you.
a brick wall. Don't go hurt yourself.
Hey, man, that's the level of energy you gave. That's the level of power and impact that you had in that speech. You just changed somebody's life right there.
Maybe.
We'll see. They're gonna let you know in the
Okay,
comments
but
because y'all gonna. But nah, that's it, ladies and gentlemen. If y'all dealt with some pressure or you feel like some kids are dealing with pressure in March Madness, you're gonna remember this episode. And be like, they didn't meditate. He wasn't breathing right there. She's a little too happy. She should have meditated. You can start noticing this like this small little things here and there now because of this podcast. You're welcome. So
probably will, to be honest.
that would be fun though. But uh but that's it. She ain't got nothing to say. She left you all with a legendary, impactful, motivational speech. And I gave you my J. Cole quote.
They're ready to go conquer
There's
the
nothing else to
world.
say. You feel me? Like driving down, blasting J. Cole. Hopefully at some point this year he drops the album, whichever one it is. Or it's a mixtape. We don't know
New
yet.
music.
He ain't got no clear, you know. And then when you do get there, you're gonna be conquering the world listening to more J. Cole. That's all it is, you know. So um but now if you want to get more motivational speeches and um if you're in the area of where she is and you want to get some mental performance coaching, you can hit up Miss AB Mentality over there. Follow her on social media and give her some money to get your mind straight. That'll be a great exchange.
It's worth it.
Um, and if you want, that's true. And if you want to give me some money for no reason, I will gladly take that too. Um, we can make that work. But you can also give me money if you want me to train you. That'll be cool too. You know, I'm pretty nice with getting kids better within the skills of basketball. So we can do that exchange. You can just give it to me for free, or you can like trade me and I train you or your kid. Either one works for me. Um, uh, but nah, follow me on social media. It's BeBall Jones, BeBall Jones. Follow her on Instagram mainly because that's where she gets busy the most over there. A little bit Twitter
Some
too,
TikTok. A little
and
bit. I might get back on my
a little bit
mentality
everything.
Mondays, so stay tuned for that.
Allegedly, don't hold your breath on
Had
that one.
some
We'll
requests.
see. Um, but that's it, guys. Thank you guys for watching. Oh, subscribe. I gotta remember that. You guys subscribe to the podcast. You feel me? I'm tripping. If you're on YouTube watching right now, I know you at home doing your thing, chilling, you on your laptop, hit the button. It's right there. Go ahead. If you're listening on Apple or Spotify, pause for a second because you're probably driving. I know 9 times out of 10 you're driving somewhere or you're working out, doing something else. So like when you get a second to stop, go hit the follow and button and like do that. Like and share and show some love to some other people. Like, yo, you need to breathe more or you'll die or just not be as focused. Either one, both of them are very true. But tell them that and tell them to listen to this too. And that's it. You know, that's my bad ending to this, but it's fun. I enjoy it. So thank you all for listening to this. I enjoy this. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for listening. See you next episode.